Hello, hello, hello. Welcome again. This is take two. Let's see how it goes for take two. Welcome everybody to Divine Design Academy, Florida Antuofermo. My name is Christine Marguerite of Lovevolvenergy, and I'm doing the series here entitled Meet the Teachers in Training, parenthetical. So tonight I'll be chatting with the mysterious and fabulous Skye Ventura. So part one is thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me and us. And part two is hold on while we get our tech in order. Oh, great, Skye is here, so let me bring her up. This is going to be a really fun night. I've been wanting to chat with Skye for quite a while, so I'm glad we can make this happen. Miss Ventura.
Hello, Christine.
Hi, Skye. How you doing, lady?
Good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Pretty good. I want to make sure some other tech stuff is working here. And it seems to be a go. It'll take a minute for people to show up. But a lot of times this is just for replay watchers to get on board with the fishes and see it as we replay. So everybody, hello. Welcome again. We're going to be chatting with all of the teachers in the coming weeks, or teachers in training, I have to say, although everybody's a instructor and offer a teacher in their own right. And tonight we're chatting with Skye Ventura, and I've been really looking forward to chatting with you for a while now, Skye, so I'm really excited that you let yourself appear in the world in this way. So thank you. Thank you very much.
You.
You're already going. Oh, I see Patty is here. Yay. Hi, Patty. Can you hear us okay? I know there's sometimes a delay with the audio. So let's just dive right in and people will catch up with the everything. So as most people know, I'm an energy geek. I do energy geeky things. I'm a channel, which is really just opening up so energy can flush through and come through. And that's my main thing, that and meditation as a foundation, I would say. Oh, and the kitchen sink, right? Like I could just keep naming all the million things. I've been a body worker and yogi and dancer for a long time, so that too. What I don't know is what you do. I know a little bit because I've had exposure to you. We've interacted in a lot of Lauren's courses and classes online. And I know a little bit counseling, I know a little bit astrology, and I may have gotten all of that wrong. I have not. Okay.
Little bit.
A little bit. So what's your jam, Miss Skye? What's within the terms of the woo-woo? And if it leaks into the muggle life, yay for that too. But just to catch me up and to catch everybody up about who you am.
So I love doing Akashic record readings. I love it.
That's your jam. That's your thing.
A little bit of mediumship and just kind of whatever comes up. I'm playing with energy healing, but I'm not formally trained in anything but body of light and body of love.
That's your training, the bodies of.
Yes.
So have you always been interested in the woo? You know, tarot cards and astrology, or when did that part of your life really come online for you?
So the energy stuff and guidance, that's like a lifelong thing, but yeah. I didn't have terms or concepts to associate with it. It just was,
Yeah. Well, I kind of know, like when you were a kid, you mean?
My whole life.
Like how did, like you have words for it now, like you could call it energy. So how did that show up? Visuals or?
Oh, as a child,
Yeah.
um, um, how would you call it? Out of body experience, like
Okay.
a lucid dream. It's not dreaming
Yeah.
though. It was being someplace else.
Yep.
And I remember that as far back as 3 years old, and
Yeah.
being out of body, and just a not constant, but nearly constant conversation with God. And
Yes.
um, I don't know. I just thought that was normal.
That was your normal.
Yeah.
Did that shift as you got into the tweens and the teens and
So when I was a teenager, I have been brought up in a Catholic church, and I stopped going after First Communion, and I knew that there was something that didn't fit.
yeah.
And so when I hit like 15, 16, I started learning other religions with friends and pastors, and just learning as much as I could, trying to find the right one,
Yeah.
and never did.
Yeah.
And then decided that I would just take a piece of each one and make it my own. And then not shortly, but after, life happens.
Yeah. Hallelujah. Sing it to me. Yes.
um,
So life
started a
happens.
started
Yeah.
a family,
Uh-huh.
and then had to find a church or a group where I could raise my kids,
Yeah.
and did that, and really stepped away from, not um, it wasn't so prevalent. The
The
religion kind of stepped in, and,
gotcha.
and the healing. I don't know. All my kids know how to heal themselves.
Oh
And
yeah. Okay.
like, I don't know how I taught them that, but I know we worked on it when they were little, and as
You
they were
did.
coming up. Oh yeah.
How? Just like put your hands here and breathe and invite Holy Spirit in or things like that or
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
And kicking entity, like we had these gremlins in the house we had to kick out.
Okay. Great.
And the kids were all into, they were little, so
Yeah.
they weren't afraid. And
Right.
I don't know, just was that kind of thing was always just normal.
It was the norm. Yeah.
Yeah. So then brought the kids up, um and they all turned away from the church.
Oh, they
All four
did.
of them, they did,
Okay.
and for good reason.
Oh,
And it just didn't resonate. And
yeah.
so we kind of all went in our own individual directions. And my life was all about trying to navigate a relationship that I didn't belong in with
Oh,
my husband.
yeah.
And that kind of brought on, I guess, a dark night of the soul,
Yes.
I suppose, that lasted way longer than it should have. But I was
Girl.
still raising 4 kids and working, and
So
um,
that force of nature of Dark Knight came on for you while you were uh, full time and the 4 kids and the husband and oh
yeah.
yes. Okay.
And then I bumped into India Lee, and
Okay.
and
Bumped into her physically?
no,
Okay.
online,
Tell me.
and had a reading with her. And
Okay.
then she I remember telling her, she opened a door in my heart and just brought me right back to center. And then I found Lauren online and fell in
Okay.
love. I remember the first time I saw her, and I just fell in love with her.
What was the first
And
time you saw her? Where online somewhere?
she was doing a live, and she was channeling, and I don't remember if it was about astrology or if it was, I don't remember the content of it, but I just remember being mesmerized by her. She
Oh
she
yeah.
moves her hands, and to me it looks like angel wings, and she's just
Yeah.
like She's
It gets
amazing.
really like intense and animated. Like
Yeah.
I had a similar thing with Lauren, and I was already. Were you a part of the Lightworkers Lab and that whole crew? And that's the first time I saw her. So I don't know if you saw live in there or in her personal, one of her personal groups or pages. But I think I saw her in there, and I just remember she was like mid flow, you'd call it, when she's all like fire and she's all
Yeah.
like, and, and I was like yelling at her on the screen. I was like, "Go, girl, you go, yeah, mama, you tell it." Like she was just like
It's beautiful.
it's beautiful and inspiring, and it like calls up the fire within you kind of thing is how it felt. So yeah. So a similar experience, it sounds like. You saw her and you're like, oh, her.
Yes, exactly. And she shortly after that was, maybe not shortly. I don't know how long. I watched her every chance I got.
Yeah.
And then she offered Body of Light Beta. And I reached out to her because I wasn't sure if I would fit there or if I should do a reading or an astrology. Like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
And God, I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah.
Changed my life. Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah.
So what was
Just,
it like the first beta go around? Where were you in your life with
oh,
the Dark Night, or did that kind of shift after India and
I was out of that by the time I actually reached out to India.
okay,
Um,
okay, okay.
and I had left my husband and moved
Okay.
and was on the upswing. Um,
Okay.
and that's when I found India and then Lauren. And so the beta, I was very much an observer. I'm like in the back
I
row.
know. You're
I'm a
the mysterious
listener.
one in the back corner, and you're all like, huh,
Yeah.
and then once in a while you pop up and it's like a zinger, and everyone's like, Mom?
No.
Yes. You guys, if you haven't been in class with Skye before, buckle up. Just saying. She's the one you gotta
Aw.
buckle up for, totally. Anyway, kudos,
Um,
kudos. So yeah, so you were in the back of the class for Body of Light Beta.
I was very much observing and making sure
Mm-hmm.
that it resonated and that, a lot of it I understood and a lot of it I didn't. A
Yeah.
lot of it was putting words to what I knew,
Yeah.
and but the big piece in that was applying compassion to the self.
Yeah.
Life changer.
Life
Um,
changer.
Complete life changer. Yeah. Um, it just it, Body of light is like the key. It,
Yeah.
when you can look through the lens of love in every situation, at every person and everything, and really see them, I'm going to cry, for who they are. It and you can't do that every second of every day, but when that's the predominant thing, life is so much just gentler.
Yeah.
And to me, Body of Light is the key to that. It just
It's
is.
changing your lens, the lens through which you see the world,
Through,
external.
well, through which you see yourself first, I think,
Yes.
and then letting that, um, color the lens that you see the world in.
So how was that the first beta? It was like what I'm hearing you say is, oh, compassion for self. Wow. And that's what the the first go around for the Body of Light was for you, that element, that piece. Is that
Um,
true?
It's true. I don't think it integrated until sometime after the beta ended.
Of course, right?
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, or maybe even the second class. I don't know. There's so many layers, and each class changes so much.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same, it's so different because the
How many?
people,
Because the people,
right?
yeah. How many classes, how many go arounds with the body of love with group
With the
have
body of
you,
love, body
well,
of,
body of love and body of light?
so I think body of love is twice, and body of light is either 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
you've
know.
done all of them. You just keep, you're always the one anchoring in the back of the class. You're doing the, is that, so you've seen the whole thing evolve then, not just for you personally, but how it's offered and the whole, it's almost like you've been midwifing it along with her, is what it sounds like.
I don't know about that, but I've been enjoying it with her.
Yeah,
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, it's changed. The delivery has changed, but it hasn't. It's it's so simple now. It's so digestible, and um, it's phenomenal how much you can get out of it, and with such simple concepts.
yeah,
It just, the mantras and it's just so simple.
yes.
I think it
So
integrates much more gently.
you do. It being a simpler, more digestible.
Um, yeah, I think so. Or it might just be that I've done it
It
before.
could be. You've been tilling the field for a couple of years, so yeah, maybe it,
Yeah,
it lands
maybe.
differently. I mean, there's no way to really tell, right? Because
Right.
you've had your specific experience of it for sure. Do you find that different things light up each go around?
Yes.
Or, yeah,
Yeah.
how, yeah, can you say
Just
anything about,
different for me personally, different layers of the same concept, and so like compassion for self and compassion towards other people, and um that's the easiest one for me to talk about.
is it?
Because it was so, it changed everything.
Changed
It just
everything.
changed everything for me. And it became um, not something to do, just a way of life.
Yes.
Um, and I sometimes I can see it happening as it's happening in my interactions with people. And oftentimes it just is, it,
Yeah.
you know. So with each group or each class, I think that um, it just becomes another, a lot like, how it's cyclical, and you
Yes.
learn the same lesson repeatedly.
Yeah.
I think it's just another level of, or from another angle, another perspective.
Yeah, so it just flavors and spices it differently because
Yeah,
of who shows up. And so then we each get to use that spice for ourselves and
right.
reflect on it different. It's so, that's what I love about the classroom situation, that you get all of that input and it's exponential in a way, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious about this other thing that you said, and just wonder about it. When you were talking about your earliest memories and your early days were this out of body astral travel on the one, and on the other, this near constant communication connection with source or goddess or divine, or I don't know what words you use right now. um, has some of that, I'm mostly curious about that connection communication. Has that come back online? And Does it feel connected to the self-compassion?
Does it feel? Yes, most definitely. It's never gone offline.
Okay.
Maybe become more sporadic because I didn't listen,
Yeah.
mostly because I got
Free
stubborn.
will. You have the choice to ignore it. Yep.
Mhm. I know better than you,
Yeah. Right.
right?
Yeah. I'm in a body in my life. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, so it's interesting that you asked that. Um, and I'm going to go off on a tangent, I think.
I love a
Maybe
tangent.
it's
Give me.
part of it. So, one of the things during Body of Light, and I don't remember if it was the beta or the second time, but we're trying to find joy, right? Find some love and some joy. And I'm like, I got no guides. What are you talking about? What's happening? And I remember driving up a mountain, and we had been talking about the mind and the ego. And I had never seen those as being, now the ego I did. I knew to not, I'm a Leo. So I knew that if I fell into my ego from real young, that my head would get big and I had to put that aside, and that always had to stay behind me, not in front of me, because I don't want to be that way. But so during Body of Light, there was just this one day I'm like, okay, I need the mind and I need the ego to go shotgun and play together. You guys need to go in the back seat, leave me alone, and just let me think. And not even think, let me just drive and feel and be where I'm at. So I'm driving up the mountain, just that, not anything else. And I was overcome with this feeling of love, and in my heart, like I couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
And so then it went away. Didn't last very long, a few seconds. And I remember going back to Lauren a couple of weeks or a week later and being like, no, I want that back. How do I get that again? How do I have that more often? And I was real stubborn about it. And now I can get that. Like it's not constant, but I can take myself there with compassion. It's always with
With
compassion.
compassion.
Yeah,
That's your inner doorway.
I think so.
Ah. And do you, I don't, if this is way too private, let me know. I'm wondering what your lock and key. It sounds like you unlock the thing and it opens into that emotional, physical, complete sensation that you want. And your key is what?
God,
Self, say that.
source,
Yeah.
God, source, compassion. There's not one thing, I don't think. I think it's um, being compassionate with myself to know that God's just right there.
How do you do that?
Just like that. I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
you remember in some way. Yeah.
sitting in the heart, and and so how do I do that? How do I do
Yeah.
that? I do that by being in nature, by seeing the stability of the sky and the clouds and the trees and the grass, and seeing God source within all, and knowing that if I were the only person here, it would be here just for me.
Hmm.
Um, and not in a egoic way, but that's for each of us. If
Yes.
you were the only person here, it would be here just for you.
Understood. Yeah.
And it just kind of, I don't know. I don't know if it's oneness or if it's just love, or it just is.
It just is.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful. I really feel you when you're saying that.
It's not a very good answer, but it is the answer, I think.
Well, I think it's a great, well, for me, it's a great answer. It really points at, you actually have to experience it. And we can try to find these words in the languaging, and it's never exactly right. It's these tiny words that just point at this huge sensation, except you can't use the word huge because even that's a word and that doesn't describe it, right?
Right.
And it's just, it's so interesting to me. Oh, I'm feeling it now in my heart too, how that um, compassion, just the word of leaning into, I mean, I have certain ideas about love and compassion and how those two things are related. Um, and particularly for us Westerners, we need a lot of, we're not really trained in kindness and compassion towards ourselves. You have to go out and manually learn how to drive that bus
Mm-hmm.
and then drive the bus of self-compassion for yourself. And I think Body of Love and Body of Light is a great sort of training to learn how to drive that bus.
But yeah, no, you're the key is body of light. I do
Yeah.
believe that. I believe that um, I am just waiting and have been waiting for to be able to teach body of light because
You have.
like yeah, I it comes out in everything and everyone I talk to and my kids are better people for it and it just not better people but more aware.
Yeah.
And I really do believe the body of light and the concepts and the exercises are the key to awareness
Yes.
to bring you there. I just
Yes.
do.
I I am with you on that 120%. Like for me too, Skye, I believe in practice. I believe in it. And I believe in the tools. And I believe, just try it. Just use the tools and see what happens and see what emerges for you in your truth. And so there's something about that integrates. And that's what I hear you talking about, that it's integrated and it's your lens and it's how you interact and it colors your family life and it sounds like it colors your work life too. Is that true?
It does. Yeah.
Just because of who you are and how you show up.
And because of how people approach me now.
Really?
Yeah. I
Tell me
have,
about that.
so during the week, I'm on a team of 7 people,
Mhm.
and all but one have come to me and said, "Hey, let's have a conversation about religion or about God,"
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Sweet. Yeah.
So, and it's this ongoing, it's like, I don't know. One of the guys, I talk to him about it every week, a couple times a week sometimes. And it just, the way that people come to me is different than it used to be.
Okay. And I'm curious about that too, if they're coming to you with questions of religion. Is there a difference between, I mean, I maybe this is not the best question in the world, but I'm curious about your view of the differences between having conversations about religion and conversations about spirituality as a lived experience.
So in my conversations with these people,
Yeah.
I tend to steer them away from religion and
Mm.
try to remind them that, it's not about judgment and, little things.
Yeah, yeah.
But it takes time because there's a lot wrapped around that for a lot of people. Um, and so I think that's part of what's interesting about having all these conversations is that these men are I want to say they're changing the way they see things. I know at least one of them is.
Yeah.
Um, and that's pretty cool to get to witness that, and to be a part of it. No matter how small a part of it you are, it's still fun to see it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I just
So
love
just
it.
that, does that feed into your desire to be a part of this? I think we're calling it a teacher training program, but whatever the summer's iteration of Body of Design is, you're part of it with us, and that seems like you have some excitement and enthusiasm and a
Oh
desire.
yeah,
And
I want to be
tell
cut
me about
loose.
you.
I want to know how to train
Girl,
it so I can be cut loose and go do it. I'm ready.
do you feel like you're already doing it? It
Yeah,
sounds like you are. And
yeah,
so,
in a sense.
what does this cut loose bit mean?
I want to teach as many people as I can.
Do you?
If I could, and I've told Lauren this, if I could gift every single person I knew to go and have a class with her, and every single person I didn't know, I would do it. It should be required in elementary school. Come on. These people need to learn these things. It's
Yes.
life changing in a good way. And I can't see anybody not benefiting from it, even if they don't take on the energies and even if they don't it's embedded in them. They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody's, we all get there eventually anyway, but oh my, this would just speed things up.
Speed things up.
I think
And
so, yeah.
yes, I tend to agree. Like sort of clearing away of the fog of what's already there kind of
Yeah.
effort. So,
Great foundation for young people, I think.
yeah.
And like you said, clearing away the fog for people who are in the fog.
Yes. Do you have a preference for the kind of people that you share this gift of self-compassion with?
I used to. I used to want to.
Yeah.
I used to really want to work with young people, and because I just see the world changing through them.
Yeah.
But now I don't care. I
Okay.
don't care.
Whoever whoever's drawn to you.
Yeah, whoever wants to talk about it, I'll talk about it.
All right. I have another question for you. I and I've been because I've talked to quite a few people. Are you okay on time? I know that we're kind of ticking away. Um, great. I've spoken to a few people who were in the beta program, and I've been curious about this one piece. It has such resonance for me. One of the structures, and now as it's evolved and sort of clarified and distilled into certain concepts of clarity, compassion, joy for the solution, is one thread of that. And what I'm really curious about, and I'm really curious about your take on this, because I understand in the beta program, that last piece of joy for the solution was more about co-creation, the co-creativity spawning from, and receptivity, co-creativity, joyfulness, solution finding, leaning into the positivity of the evolution. And so all those words I just offered. What's your understanding of that last piece, you who have been through all of this from the beginning?
That's a really good question. Um, I
Does it
think
make sense how I'm pointing at it?
it does.
Okay.
The way that I took it during the beta was co-creation with Source, with God.
Yes. Yeah.
And finding that through Source, through God, and that's always the solution. Love is always the solution. Like
Always a solution.
it is, right? Like if there are two bases that all emotion come from, I believe or feel, at least within myself, it all stems from, here it is, from love and from fear. And if fear is overlaying love, it's harder to get to that point. But with Body of Light, for me, it took the overlay, even if it's moved over 50% and love is exposed 50%, you've got a point of access.
Yes.
And Lauren creates points of access.
Points of access.
Mm-hmm. And a Body of Light is what slides that fear over to expose right? And going through it multiple times, I think that just became the solution. Love is the answer to everything. What other solution is there?
Love is the solution. Yes.
God. What else is there?
What else is there? And that is necessarily everything I see on your face right now, which is joy and delight.
I love Body of Light. I love it. I do.
It loves you back.
The best thing ever. Everyone should take it 5 times.
Like you have, yeah.
I don't know about 5 times, but everybody should take it.
I love that. I love the prescription. Dr. Ventura prescribes 5 times Body of Light. I love that. So let's start to wrap up. I have a few just curiosities about the summer. What are you, if you had to say, what are you most curious about, most excited / curious about in this upcoming session?
To see if us 6 fight over the slots. Who I'm going to have to box. Not really. But
I know.
But just the way it evolves and the way that it's, there's so many different perspectives of the same thing, and then throwing Lawrence in there on top of it. I think it's just going to be amazing.
It's going to be bananas, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty excited about that bit too.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference of which classes you focus on or you teach?
All of them?
Yeah.
I wonder if we're gonna, fall into the slots and just stick with them, or if we're gonna be like, hey, let's trade.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I don't know. Wild card, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm good with all of it. I don't really have a preference for sure. So
yeah. They're all so good. There's nothing that isn't fun, and like the grid. There's just so many fun pieces of this too. The gridding and
the gridding,
it's so cool.
Gridding, yeah.
I love it all.
And the mantras and images that go with that, and yeah.
Just simple, but life-changing.
Yes.
I can't wait.
I think the best life-changing things are really profoundly simple.
I think so too.
Yeah. So, well, Ms. Skye Ventura, thank you for sharing your time with us, with me. It's really just delightful to hear you talk about this stuff from someone who's been there at the beginning and then going through. And it's not so much. I really feel it with you. I really feel the work or the play. I feel the resonance that you offer out through your eyes and your face, and just your energy is testament in a way. It's you can use whatever words, but
you're very kind. Very generous.
Calling it as I see it,
I do. I really do love it. I can't get enough of Lauren. Body of
Yeah.
Light is wonderful. Both Laurens. Lauren
Yeah.
Olivia is freaking amazing too.
I know it. I know
Everybody
it.
in our group is though. Just gonna
It
be
is.
fun.
It is going to be super fun,
Yeah.
exciting. And I just want to mention to anybody who's watching replay here or is somehow accessing this live, when Skye and I talk about the six of us, there are six teacher trainees, people that have really been moved by the body of love, body of light, body of joy, body of design offerings, their channeled offerings, and have stepped up and want to integrate this stuff more completely. And a way to do that is to offer it, to teach it, to coach through the techniques to support others. And so there are six of us doing that. So when we talk about people vying for who's going to get what slot, there's different themes in each of the 12 weeks. And so some people want to do particular themes, and some people, I think, like Skye and myself, are like, yeah, all of it, whatever, I'm good. So that's what we're talking about. Anyway, all right. So, anything else that you maybe want to offer? Anything that's coming through? Uh,
I think we've talked
okay.
about lots. It's
I
been a
think we
pleasure.
have. Yes. Thanks. I'm glad that we touched base and made this happen. So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, we're going to peace out. Make sure that you sign up. We're getting the links together by the end of the week. I suspect, I hope, we'll have the page, this page specific links that will, the page specific to signing up and registering for Body of Design this summer. It is a 12-week course. And all the prices will be on that page as well. And when I get all the information, it'll be posted above or written somehow wherever you come across this video. So that's the deal. All right. Thanks a lot. And thanks again. Peace to everybody. And we're signing off here. Peace to you, Skye.
Thank
Love
you. Have a
ya.
good night.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.